My goodness me, paper 2 is days away. Stay tuned. Schofield on Shakespeare tips on the way. Short opening paragraph, please. Well written and clearly focusing on the task in hand. Be careful. It's possible you may have some knowledge of your own about the particular topic. However, within the main paragraphs, each point must originate from the text. What makes this different from paper 1 question 3 is the need to evaluate, weigh up, consider, probe. Do this after each point that you have taken from the text. The geek in me can't resist pointing out that this is the only section of the paper in which the top band of the mark scheme says that the vocabulary should be sophisticated. Remember, those foolish enough to be marking during their summer holidays will have enormous piles to mark. Make sure your response, whatever the question, is lively and engaging. Now on to the second part of the paper, descriptive narrative writing. These tips are pertinent irrespective of whether you'd go for a descriptive or a narrative question. Try and ensure variation in your sentence structures, so look at your very first word and ensure that ideally each one starts with a different word. Keep us wanting more with your first paragraph. Ensure that something is suggested which might well interest us. If you're looking for a high mark, you need to do something different, interesting with your paragraphing. Don't just plonk. Whatever the question, whether it's descriptive or narrative, I'd recommend including a one-word short sentence for effect and an incredibly short paragraph which consists of just one sentence. Given that the mark scheme for the narrative section mentions description, this tip is apt for both descriptive and narrative questions. However, please avoid cliches. If you spend some time watching news channels or reading newspapers, it soon becomes clear that we as humans are primarily interested in the bad things that happen to us, preferably other people. Please use a range of punctuation. If you don't know 100% how to use colons or semicolons, watch one of my other videos. Back onto varied sentence structures here. Make sure that sometimes you start with an adverbial phrase or a subordinate clause. This isn't easy, but really ensure you go into a lot of very close, small detail when describing. It can also be helpful to mention specific names. So if you're describing a high street, you can actually name brands and the names of particular shops to help us properly visualize where you are. I quite like the idea of a circular structure. This helps your short piece of writing sound finished, sound as though it's come to a natural conclusion, but tweak individual words that you've used in the opening and use them slightly differently in your final paragraph. This is GCSE English, and no, this section doesn't require your vocabulary to be sophisticated, but of course you do need to show off your range of vocabulary. So get those interesting, engaging, clever little words in there.